Hi, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, your guide on this journey on this channel. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for such a positive response to the human design profile videos. I know, obviously, if this is your first time, welcome. But the last time I put out videos, I said that I was going to be focusing more on the human design profile readings versus doing both those and the zodiac sign readings. And I also said that was just the guidance that I received, basically. So I feel like, it's following my strategy and authority, following that feeling. So, that's what we do, even if it doesn't make sense to us. So there is a link in the description below if you don't know your human design profile. Even if you don't know anything about human design, this isn't necessarily to teach you about human design or, kind of be so advanced that you don't get it. This is more just message by profile because it's just an added element, a different way of receiving messages outside of your sun, moon, rising, right? So it is still about the tarot message. And of course, I do generally give some sort of blurb about each profile before we begin. So with that being said, we're using the Oracle of Destiny and the Muse tarot today. I was kind of like, for a couple days, I was just kind of like whining to myself because I haven't bought any new decks and I can't even tell you how long. But then I was reminded that I had bought this deck and another one these were probably the last, this deck and the other one is probably the last decks that I bought. And I just kind of put them on a desk out of the way and totally forgot about them. So I was glad that it, kind of presented itself like, hello, I'm here, I'm new. So we're going to use it and the Muse. What was that? The World? Oh, that was the Wheel. Interesting, because I've seen that a lot lately. Anyway, let's get into it. Great. So I feel like what is so interesting is that the last two readings that I have are the 1-3 and you guys, the 6-3. So it's like it's the beginning because we start with the 1-3s and then the end because we end with the 6-3. So I don't know. I find that interesting. I still use my little bowl. If you guys have been here for some time, I still use my little bowl to choose the order. I just don't do it on camera anymore. But anyway, it's just kind of interesting how that worked out. And also, too, before doing these readings today and just really like the last, I don't know, like week or so, God, I've wanted to get these readings done so bad because I also just feel bad that, it's taken me so long to do that. There's been a lot of life changes, blah, 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 things just come up. But then it almost kind of got to a point where I am like resisting, so I don't know, maybe there's something in your life that you are also resisting or really want to do, but life keeps coming up or life keeps getting in the way or something, but it's like that thing just is like buzzing in the back of your head. And the message is to like, here I am, I'm here, I've shown up. So your turn. So now it's your turn to do the same thing. I don't make the rules, okay? I just follow them. So before we actually get into the reading, though, I like to share just some sort of something that I found out on the socials about your profile. And this time I found this post. This was actually back in July when I found this. So I don't actually know who the creator is, and they don't have their handle on the images that I saved. So I would love to give them credit, but I can't. But it's the 12 archetypal defense mechanisms of the Not Self series. So, we generally talk about the positive attributes of your design, of your profile, but this is specifically about how it would show up in the Not Self theme, or the shadow side. So let me know if this sounds like you. It says they feel disconnected from feeling ashamed. They try to hide from their mistakes by denying their own sense of guilt. Their defense from feeling pain is to keep on keeping on, in the hope that they will forget their past. This refusal to acknowledge their own mistakes makes it very difficult for them to trust in others, and consequently, they try anything that helps them escape their pain. That's real. So yeah, how does that sound for you? Especially, the first 30 years of life, you're living as a 3-3, because that sixth line operates as a third line up until your Saturn return. And then you go up on the roof, and that's kind of where it starts metamorphizing into that sixth line. You start unpacking the trial and error, the life that you bumped up against and that bumped up against you, and those mistakes, and what stays, what goes. But also that third line on the unconscious side is going to keep kind of pulling you back off of the roof, because you're going to get bored if you stay up there for too long. So you've got to get your hands into life a little bit, and if you see things as a mistake, then, which is interesting because Mars came out. If you see things as a mistake, then yeah, that would create a lot of pain, when really you guys are designed to make those mistakes so that you can universalize them to others, and even just help you learn to live a more authentic, truly authentic life. So we have Mars here, and we're going to read from the book on these, because they all are attributed to like a placement on your hand. You might be ruled by Mars in some aspect, like Mars might just have like a pretty significant placement in your chart. We had that Mars retrograde, right? Was that this year? We have the Ace of Cups. I swear, all of a sudden too, like in the last week, not even in the last week, but even in like the last couple days, my sense of time has been really weird. Like, I can't remember if stuff happened this year or last year or even the year before. Like, it's just, I don't know. Are we going through like a time warp or something? Like, what is happening? So we have the Ace of Cups. We just need 5 more. We have the 7 of Pentacles. That's a beautiful card. I can't even tell you the last time I saw this card come out. That's kind of interesting. We have the 10 of Pentacles. We have the 10 of Swords in the reverse, which is kind of interesting. I don't shuffle reversals into the deck, but if they come out reverse, then I keep them as such, because I don't know if you could see it, because it might have been off camera. But it fell out and then literally turned reversed. So clearly it wanted to be. That is way too many cards. We just need 2 more. we have the Six of Pentacles. Interesting. 7, 6. One more. That is too many. We have the Ten of Cups. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then we have the Tower at the bottom of the deck, which is so interesting because I believe the Tower is Mars. Yeah. Wow. Very interesting. Okay. Truly though, it's like, what are the odds that Mars would come out of the Oracle of Destiny deck, and then the card, which, I mean, one of the cards, because the Emperor is also attached to Mars, but the Mars card would come out, and even specifically this Mars card. So I don't know. I'm like, I'm so curious to get into this. So we're gonna read from the book first. It says, aspect of the hand, the thumb, also known as the finger of Venus and Mars, is central to palm readings because it presents, in a nutshell, all aspects of a person's nature. After all, it is the finger that allows us to touch what we come into contact with. The upper phalanx bone, the one in the fingernail, is related to willpower and determination. The one below it is related to logic and reason and indicates the degree to which they direct our intentions. When they are proportionate, we will succeed in carrying out our intentions based on reasoning. The third phalanx is attached to the mount of Venus, the seat of our vital energy. So I'm assuming, like, it's talking about, like on our thumb, this part, and then down here. Can you see? Okay. And divinatory message. This finger represents you in its entirety, capturing the essence of the way you master life by analyzing and reasoning before acting and doing. Venus, a window open to the ability to endure, love, rejoice, and experience pleasure. It is time to evaluate how you grasp what comes from the outside and how you direct your rationality to achieve your goal. Very interesting. Let me close my door really fast. Okay, that's better. Also, we have 3 10s. We have 3 10s on the table, which also, simplifies down to a 1. And we start with an ace. And then we have 6 and 7 in the middle of, I feel like this is so interesting to me. That might be my first line, I don't know, but like just kind of seeing, if you want to call that a pattern. And truly even like the odds of that happening, because it is random, right? I mean, you saw me shuffling. So I don't know. This is why I love tarot. So we start with the Ace of Cups. Cups having to do with our emotions, heart chakra. It's our relationship to love. Not just romantic love, of course, it can be that, but self-love, how do we give and receive love? What are the things in our life that we love? Love, right? It's also about, your cup being full to the point of overflowing. So, when you feel rejuvenated, when you feel that your literal cup, your vessel, right, is full. You're not exhausted, like you're emotionally available. And what's interesting too, like in this card, is that it looks like they're coming up from the depths, right? It's like we can see down here there's some coral, so it's like they are coming up to the surface, or even breaking the surface here at the top of the card. So there could have been something that you have, like a state of mind, a state of being. You could have been feeling emotionally drained, or just emotionally exhausted, or even just really in your feels for the last however long. Maybe unpacking stuff, maybe, just feeling overwhelmed in some capacity. What's also cool is that we start with the Ace of Cups and we end with the Ten of Cups, which is beautiful. I love that. And it's paired with the Ten of Swords in the reverse. And like I said, this card came out, literally flipped itself around on the table to be in the reverse. So the Ten of Swords upright, swords having to do with our mind, our thoughts, inspiration, ideas. It's also divine truth, objective honesty, right? And I also see swords as being the suit of our ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, feelings. It's literally the reason why we do and don't do certain things, right? So, well, in the upright, tens are a completion, right? Specifically, the Ten of Swords says that, it's kind of like the sword, I almost said the sword that broke the camel's back, the straw that broke the camel's back, right? It's like you have considered absolutely everything there is to consider. The mental gymnastics, the mental exhaustion, right? Like that type of energy would be coming to an end. There's also even like a feeling of healing with the Ten of Swords, because it is moving beyond that state of mind. So with it being in the reverse, and specifically, I mean, I feel like it almost kind of still has like that same meaning, and I almost feel like the reason why it came out in the reverse, and I don't know, this is just the feeling that's being dropped into me, is because like this is kind of how I was looking at it as I was shuffling. It almost looks like a hourglass to me, because this looks like a V, this, it looks like a triangle, and then there's a skinny part right here in the middle, and it looks like an hourglass. So that's why too, I was saying that this could be something that you have been in the vibe of for some time. Maybe you've been trying to, kind of raise your vibration or come out of this state of mind here. You could have even discovered some sort of truth here in the Ten of Swords that, or even attaching a new emotion or a new story to an old experience here. Because again, right, I mean, this Ace of Cups is literally coming out of this Ten of Swords. And even, like if you have been in, like if you are up on the roof or going to be on the roof, or if you've been on the roof for some time, obviously depending on kind of where you are in your 6-line journey, it could feel a bit like this, like, you're really kind of evaluating those experiences for really from birth, right? Like it's really unpacking all of that. So it is kind of turning things upside down and really looking at the story that you've attached to that. Is that true? Is that story true for me? Is that story something that I actually believe about myself? Or was it a story that was imprinted onto me or given to me by somebody else, whether, they were trying to protect you or not, or, really kind of looking at those things. It's very interesting. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles having to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our physical energy. Like, what are we putting our physical energy into? Where are we physically showing up in our lives? And it's also our physical body. It's literally anything in the 3D. It could be our house, it could be our possessions, but also, our physical health. And the Seven of Pentacles is focusing our attention, our resources, our physical presence into a project, into a thing, in order to harvest it, right? It's recognizing that you need to do that too. Like, it's recognizing that you do need to put your focus into something if you want to, allow it to bloom. So it's interesting here how there's kind of this portal looking thing here, right? And this is like outer space. And then there's this, I keep hearing catwalk. That's not the word that I was searching for, but okay. And also, how they're picking these roses. But this is like the literal representation of doing the work. This can have to do with your job. It doesn't have to. It could even be, maybe Mars is putting some pressure on you in some capacity to figure some things out about yourself, or maybe there's an opportunity to do so. But this is like the whole purpose of the Seven of Pentacles is to focus that energy, to focus that, your resources in order for your own growth, whether that is growth in your career or, just personal growth. Again, if you're dealing with something health-wise, then it would be prioritizing your health. And then it's paired with the the Six of Pentacles. And this would either be sharing your experience, sharing your knowledge, because this is all third line too, speaking of. Because, that third line is designed to make those mistakes, because you're going to be the person that knows all the ways in which something doesn't work. But more so, you're going to know all of the ways that they do work because you've tried a lot of different things. So you can say, no, I already know that doesn't work because I tried it, and I tried it in these different, capacities, and I know it doesn't work. So I know that this thing over here does work because, again, right, I've put the time, the energy into doing that. So now you can share that with other people, because that's kind of what the Six of Pentacles is. It's recognizing that you have the knowledge, you have the resources, you have the time to share it with somebody else, or it could even be somebody else coming into your existence to help you. But there's this very reciprocal, kind of thing going on. It's very 50-50. It could be a loan, more so a grant, because I don't know, with the Six of Pentacles, I don't see any strings attached to the Six of Pentacles. And usually loans have strings attached to them. So, more like a grant, or, it could even be volunteer work in some capacity. I'm just kind of covering all my bases here. But again, right, it could be sharing what you've learned, even through this process here, whatever this process has been for you, you're making it, turning it into practical, almost solutions, right? And even implementing something different into your life, something that works into your life. Because again, I think your profile is the one that has a potential to live the most authentically, because of how, your design, your profile design is set up. And of course, as always, too, checking with your strategy and authority anytime any type of opportunity comes in, right? That's, you want to check in with your strategy and authority, because that's the thing that's going to help you enter into the quote unquote correct experiences for you. And then your profile is how you interact with the people, with the energy of those experiences, right? So, as always, be sure that you're checking back in. You might even want to see what your unconscious Mars placement is, because your unconscious Mars is your kind of your core wound in human design. So yeah, check out your unconscious or your design Mars and read about that gate and line and see if there's anything, if it sparks anything there for you. Speaking of Mars, right? Like, so, and too, just the difference between, we have these 7 roses that are, perfectly lined up here and, single file. And then down here, they're more, flowy. I mean, of course, there's 6 of them, just because, obviously 7 and 6. There could even just be, a little bit of a message about mixing things up a bit, right? Like not having things so like perfect, or not, kind of getting out of like a perfectionism thing. If you find yourself kind of falling into that, it's almost just like allowing things to just get mixed up a little bit. And then we have the 10 of Pentacles. I kind of love all these Pentacles here too, which is awesome. The 10 of Pentacles, we can see, there, it's about community, it's about family. There's all these people around this tree here. And what's kind of freaky, and you probably can't see it, is that these people are actually like looking, like the perspective would be that they're looking at you, which is just kind of weird. Like I just discovered that a couple readings ago, and it kind of freaks me out now. But I think it's also about, like the, especially your role model thing, right? It's not necessarily like people are just gonna, like you're gonna be like the center of attention and there's gonna be a spotlight on you everywhere you go. That sounds like torture to me. But it's also just, again, it's part of your design. People may recognize like how you, through your process, through your 6-line process, through your 3rd-line process. Again, like I said, having the ability to be truly authentic to yourself, whatever that is for you too, right? I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, but that's kind of how people start recognizing, like, wow, I love the way that you live your life, or I love the way that you have set up your career, or that your mindset around work or relationships or whatever, right? And then that's kind of when you can share your perspective. That's that role model thing, right? You can share what you've learned through the process. Again, if your strategy and authority directs you to do so. But the 10 of Pentacles, again, 10s being completion. So it is, reaching a point of success and abundance. The 10 of Pentacles is also like legacy, discovering even what you want your legacy to be. If you want a legacy, it's also about generational wealth. So you could be creating generational wealth. You could be inheriting some sort of generational wealth. Because even, the 6 of Pentacles over here, that could be inheritance. But again, it could be from somebody else. It could be you building some sort of inheritance or trust or something along those lines, if that's something that, you're interested in. This is also too, even like growing a community. It's also, it can, like I said, it's generational. So it could be family, biological family. It can just be reaching a diverse group of people, like, reaching different generations of people, or being able to relate to different generations of people. And then the Ten of Cups down here is like the minor arcana card to the Sun card. It's like everything good. It also has to do with community and family, you know? It's everybody's cup being full. Everybody feels fulfilled. Everybody feels purposeful. Everyone's needs are being met, right? It's like you have enough for yourself here with the Ace of Pentacles, or excuse me, Ace of Cups, because you have to make sure that your cup is full first, right? I mean, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can, just not for long. And, you know, you will maybe even start noticing some breakdown in your health if you continue to do so. But, you know, the Ace of why do I keep saying Ace of Pentacles? Ace of Cups is saying that there is here this feeling of your cup being full to the point of being able to even go through this journey here and end at the Ten of Cups, which again, your cup is still going to be full, but also those around you are too. So, you know, in work or even just physical body, physical presence, what you're putting your attention into is going to look good, feel good, be successful, and emotionally also, like, you know, everybody's going to be happy. There's going to be purpose and fulfillment there. So it's interesting that we have the Tower at the bottom of the deck. I don't even feel like this is even a bad card. I didn't even feel that it was a bad card, you know, to begin with when we first saw it. The Tower card isn't a bad card overall. Like, what the Tower says is that, you know, it's going to take away what is no longer serving. And sometimes it can be sudden. You know, sometimes it's just, you know, like a crack of lightning, right? But I kind of keep getting this feeling of like being energized by it. And maybe, you know, too, like with the Tower coming out, it could change quickly for you, or you would see some sort of transformation within yourself fairly quickly. Like, it might just, this revelation or this, you know, realization will come to you kind of fast, because it's kind of like, you know, the floor broke open, right? And she's on this big boulder here, but there's lightning coming out from under as well as on the top. So it's like you are very much supported. And there's this little tiny itsy bitsy, you know, person that is falling off. But it's almost like it could even just be an old identity, an old way of thinking, an old way of doing. You know, Mars is very motivation driven. Like, what is your motivation? It's going to push you to. So this might, you know, even kind of push you past a comfort zone. But again, I kind of keep getting this feeling of like this kind of sudden change. But also, look who's behind the Tower, the Empress. So this transformation, this whatever the Tower is that hits, right? And I say hits, but, you know, again, I don't think that it's going to be a bad thing. I just think whatever this journey is, it is going to cause, you know, like a something to kind of quickly change in you. Maybe even the way that you express yourself. Maybe even, you know, this person is like clad in black. This person is like very bright. Maybe it's just recognizing those two different sides of you, right? Like, have you seen that meme where it's like, you know, Wednesday and what's her name in oh my gosh, I can't remember her name now, but she's super bright and colorful and but, you know, like how they complement each other. Oh my God, what is her name? That is going to drive me crazy. I cannot remember her name. It's like right on the tip of my tongue, too. Enid. That's what it is. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank goodness for Google. But this has like very much those vibes to me. maybe you'll meet somebody that, kind of is the opposite of you, but like, in appearance, but like you guys complement each other well. It doesn't have to, but I'm just saying that could happen. But that transformation that I was talking about is here, with the Empress, right? I mean, like, and there's all these planets down here. There could be some big transits coming up for you. I mean, Mars can be a big transit for you. I don't know where Mars is right now. Is Mars in I wanted to say Libra, but now I'm thinking Scorpio. I wonder if I can Google that. Oh, Mars is Aries and Scorpio. That's why maybe I was thinking Scorpio. Mars. Oh no, Mars is in Scorpio right now. Okay. Oh my god. I don't know how long it's gonna be in Scorpio though. Oh, the moon is in Scorpio right now too. Very interesting. So yeah, maybe there are just, some transits that are going on. And of course, like October is a crazy month with transits, like, so maybe you are just experiencing, just some big energies, especially like with the tower, just kind of feeling like, things are changing. Maybe you just feel like there is a change coming up. Like you can feel the energy of it. You just don't know what it is. And the Empress to me would feel like, just being in the flow, being sure that you're present. The Empress is the divine feminine energy, right? So it's about being in the flow, intuition, receiving. It's also about creating abundance because they're generally pregnant. The Empress is. And of course, that can be like biological reproduction, but it's more about fertility and like the fertility of opportunities around you, or the fertility of like abundance around you. And especially, it looks like she's lifting the veil off of her face, kind of showing up and being seen, right? And like I said, with all these planets down here, there could be some big transits that are happening in your life or will be happening that's going to kind of cause this transformation here. And also even with the Empress is about, showing up authentically. She's ruled by Venus, which is Libra and Taurus. So, it's even, I think I mentioned at some point about like self-expression and how you express yourself, right? And then we have the Two of Wands, which is planning for the future. It's looking forward. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Also fire. So, again, your motivation. We have the Seven of Swords, the Six of Swords. It's kind of interesting that we have like another 7 and 6 combo. The Seven of Swords is, usually I always see the Seven of Swords as a card of like us fooling ourselves. Like it's kind of self-sabotagey. Again, like those stories, kind of getting stuck, or allowing ourselves to get stuck in those stories. And then the Six of Swords is about like moving forward. It's kind of like this rite of passage, but it's about like mindset, right? Like allowing your mindset to focus forward, which is very Two of Wands energy too. Like the Two of Wands is going to take action forward. The Six of Swords is going to allow your thoughts to move forward, to like focus forward. That was beautiful. I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.